Hi, this is Yucca with our second guide on tutorial on Java. And for this tutorial today we're going to just discuss programming in general, and then we're going to discuss the types of applications you can use the Java development kit for. Now firstly, as a developer with not just Java but any programming language, you download a development kit like we did in our first tutorial, and we use that development kit for creating applications. And the development kit provides us with different tools across different languages and aimed towards different types of applications which are run in different methods across these programming languages. As an example, HTML is a programming language. We can use it to create web content and so forth, and we'll get to some of the types of Java applications and that as we'll discuss in this tutorial. Now the first thing is that we need to discuss as a programmer or developer what a programming language does for us and how we choose the correct programming language based on our needs. Now this is dependent on the support that the development kit provides you as a developer. Now Java provides you with a vast variety of application types that you can develop, and it's for this reason that Java is a very good language to learn if you wish to go into various fields with regards to development as a web developer, database developer, and so forth. The Java covers all these technologies quite thoroughly. So as a developer or programmer, basically what you're doing is firstly you download a development kit which allows you to develop an application, which is the core principle behind being a programmer. Basically you take a programming language and you create applications out of that, out of those languages. So programming languages, you use them, you use their development kits, and the development kits provide you with what we refer to as an application program interface. Application program interface is basically code which is provided for you and which you tap into using the libraries of the application which connect you with the development kit, and these allow you to create applications. And usually these development kits, like Java, they come with some other form of documentation, and otherwise you should be able to locate documentation online for these and other programming languages. Now with Java, well, the purpose of programming firstly is that we create applications, and basically what an application achieves for us as a developer or as a user is we take input from either directly from a user. Now the distinction between us as a developer and a user is that we develop applications and users are people who we distribute applications to and use applications. Now there are various types of applications, but all applications have something in common, and that is that applications, they serve the function of taking some or other form of data which we refer to as input, and process that data according to the expectations of the application, and then produce output. And these data, the input and the output locations, can vary, and it's the output and the input locations which can at times determine the type of application that we are dealing with as a developer or as a user. So the underlying concepts that separate applications are how we interact with them as users, and if they are installed directly on our system or remotely and somewhere else. Now let's look at the type of Java applications that we can develop. The first and most obvious type of computer application is something as simple as a calculator, like the Windows calculator here. And we're going to discuss here what the Windows calculator provides us as a user and how we would approach this as a developer. So the Windows calculator application takes input from the user through a graphical user interface, and in programming terminology or jargon we can refer to this as the GUI in short. And the graphical user interface, or the GUI, it provides the user with a nice little screen here which notifies the user of the input that they are providing for the application, Like for example, if we took 20 times 5, we get some kind of feedback here in the GUI that notifies us of what we are doing. Note that as we click on the buttons and that, the underlying application here is also processing some data. Behind this, it's assessing the numbers, the numeric data that we are putting in, and it's displaying it back to us. And this is the underlying application logic that is being done by the application. Now, to get the output of the application, remember the application itself is by taking input and then providing output. We simply need to click on the equals button here, and this is the purpose of this application, and this is the expectation of the calculator application. We provide input, simple input, and the calculator does some arithmetic for us, and then when we're finished providing the input, we click on the equals button, and the application has served its purpose, and we'll get the output presented to us in the graphical user interface. Now note that there are several types of applications, and that some applications they require graphical user interface for input, like a calculator application, and they also provide output to something like the graphical user interface. This is not consistent across applications. There are various types of applications with regards to input and output. Some applications allow you to provide input from a file location or a database location, and some applications allow you to provide input from a network location, and likewise some applications allow you to store data to an output location or to a networked location. And these type of differences also determine the application types that we can develop as Java developers and other developers. So let's discuss the second application type that Java can be used for, and that is an applet based application. Now an applet is basically a mini application. It could be something like this calculator and so forth. Now typically if you're familiar with logging into a banking system that requires Java installed in your browser, the concept behind this is that you interact with what we refer to as a client. Well, let's discuss clients firstly. Now a client is something which interacts with the underlying application and so forth. So with this calculator application, this calculator graphical user interface here is the client for the underlying application code which processes the data and so forth. And this is a graphical user interface application. Now with the Java applet based application, basically you interact with through the web to a server which is a remote computer which runs the application or software, and through the request that you make to the server you receive a small application downloaded into your web browser, and it installs this small application onto your system as if it were a local application on your system, like this calculator that we have here in Windows. So that is a second type of application in addition to the GUI based application. Another type of application that we can develop in Java is we can develop a server application. For example, a web server application which serves web content. As an example, we could develop a application like Facebook which stores a lot of data and also displays a lot of data when users log in and so forth. And behind this all there's a lot of application logic which, for example, processes data when users log in, checks the validity of their login and so forth. And these type of applications are server based applications, and the clients for server applications are typically web browsers and so forth, although there are various type of server applications. But a web application just gives you a very rough overview of what a server application is. A third type of application that we can develop in Java is web services based applications. Now web services applications are two applications which interact with each other through networking and through the web. As an example, if you were to go and make a purchase on Amazon.com and buy a book, the Amazon application might make a deduction on their stock of that book so that the that they have updated values to present future users, so that future users can see whether they have that book in stock and so forth. In turn, the Amazon application could connect through a web service to your bank application or a banking application, which would deduct the relative payment from your banking account. And these two the Amazon application acts as a web service to your banking application and so forth. And this web service application typically doesn't require doesn't require user interaction. Apart from that, the server sends messages from one application to another, and that is the principle between web service applications. The last type of application that we can develop in Java, among several others, is a Java Bean application. The Java Bean applications are basically reusable components or applications. As an example, if we go back to our calculator here, a calculator is not just useful as a application by itself. We could use a calculator application in a much larger application. For example, we could create a hotel booking application, and we could provide the receptionist with a graphical user interface calculator, which they could use in the hotel booking system. And we could do so very easily by creating a Java Bean based application, a calculator based application, and we could reuse that Java Bean application within our booking application which we develop. And this is the fourth type of application that we can develop in Java, among several others. And this is just basically introduction to the type of applications that we can use in Java, and also just to introduce you to the concepts of what programming entails, and that is that we develop we download a development kit. We use the development kit to develop applications. The purpose of an application is to take input, process the input as is required by the expectations of the program, and check the data for validity, and produce the desired and valid and expected output, and so forth. And this is my second tutorial, just discussing in general what programming is about and the type of applications that we can use Java for. Thank you for watching.